Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? Definitely fall weather, wouldn't you say? Although we've had some good days, and so we've had some cool nights, and so it's amazing how one little item in your house can cause so many problems. There was a box hanging out in my house. A big box, a big Walmart box, okay? And I knew my husband wanted to throw it away, but I just kept telling him, just hang on, just for a little bit, you know, something's gonna come up. And my son, my youngest son, was wanting to, he was, you know, going through his clothes and like, these don't fit, Mom. And I'm like, okay, I'll get you a box. So I gave him the Walmart box. I said, just try and get all of them in there, you know, fold them up a little nice, and I'll, you know, put it somewhere for you, not for you, but for, you know, the grandkids when they catch up. But, so, you know, he had, you know, did what I asked him to do, and I said, just get it, you know, back to me. And instead of just putting it in my room or in my, even my area here, he put it, in front of the walkway, okay? Just in the walkway. Well, of course, you know, my know-it-all son, middle son, came by and lorded it over him that he couldn't leave it in the hallway or in the walkway. However, there was plenty of room. It's not like anybody has a wheelchair at this point, and it's not like it was going to be there for weeks, okay? But he had to lord it over his little brother, saying, get this box out of here. So my son, my youngest son, smart aleck that he is, threw it right in front of my other son's door. There you go. He goes, well, put it here. So that escalated into a fight. Were there punches thrown? I don't know. At this point, I was in the shower. A mother can never take a peaceful shower. It doesn't matter how old your kids are. I'm telling you. And anyway, so this escalated, and I am, you know, like, what the heck is going on? I'm hearing this yelling, and my husband, you know, is all seriously, like, oh, I didn't know they were fighting. He just walked through this argument. And so I run out and break them up. You know, they're both, you know, headlock, and, you know, they're, you know, and so I break them up, and it's always those two. It's so funny. And I'm like, what the heck is going on, right? So I get, you know, his side, and then I get my oldest son's side, and he's like, I don't know. He says something about a box, and then there was a fly swatter and a dish towel snapping, and, you know, he's like, it just, I'm like, over a box. And I told my middle son, I'm like, I told him to fill it up, and I told him to, you know, bring it out and get it to me. No, he didn't have to put it in the walkway, but no, you didn't have to lord it over him. And all over a box. What do you do? What do you do with these kids? I'm just like, you guys, come on. But anyway, enough about that. Today we are doing another fall soap. So 3 things: be kind, be forgiving, and be you. And let's go check out the video on sweater season. Okay, into our soap sweater season. I could have said sweater weather, but I thought sweater season was a little more appropriate for this soap. You'll see why. So I love a good Ghost Swirl. They're so much fun. They take a little planning, but I just love the way they turn out in the end. So a Ghost Swirl is made with, in my case, 3 different types of lye water. Not different types, different amounts. So now all 3 of the containers I'm mixing are just the oils, the fragrance oil, and the kaolin clay, and whatever else I put in there. Now, in that first, that one right there, that actually has 3 ounces of water and my lye, okay? So whenever I put my lye solution, but it's 3 ounces of water, okay? Here's where the difference comes in. The next one, oh wait, that was 5. I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. So that was 5 ounces of water. The next one has 4 ounces of water. that one there has 4, and you know, the lye and all the stuff, but it's my lye water. So my lye water solution, it's 4 ounces of water. And then the next one, after I'm done mixing there, the next one has only 3 ounces of water in it. Okay. And what is so great about this? Well, the different amounts of water in the solution make different, it makes the soap different. I guess you would want to call it, you could call it, you know, different consistencies. Different consistencies. That's a good way to explain it. So even though this was, actually I was pretty impressed with it, how it stayed pretty fluid, because sometimes if you have too small of a water ratio, it could get chunky and harder to incorporate. I know I did this with the House of the Rising Moon, I think it was. That one was pretty cool. That one had a little bit more definite consistencies. So what I am pouring off here is for the top of my bar. So I was pouring off, what did I put in there? 8 ounces of batter for the top, which was a little bit much. Eventually I will learn. I should have just, you'll see. And why am I doing a little bit of each? Because I wanted a little bit of each. And I'll just mix them up and it won't even matter. Okay, you won't see the Ghost Swirls in the top part at all. And so then I'm just going for a very, we'll call it thin, short drop swirl with each one. And you can kind of see, I could bring you in a little bit, you can kind of see the different consistencies in the batter just because of, you know, how it is, how each one is a little different, even though they are all the same color, the same amount of fragrance oil. Everything's exactly the same except the amount of water in each section, in each bowl. Okay. Really cool. I just think they're so much fun. Last year I did the Irridescent Snowflake Christmas soap. They're just so fun. They're just so fun. See, I'm like pointing them out. You can see these. They're seeable. It's you know, you should be able to see what I'm talking about. The only thing that makes me wonder is like glycerin rivers and all that stuff. You know, how is this less is more, and you know, when is less, when is more, you know, does that affect the glycerin rivers if you were really pushing the envelope for those? I don't know. That's just how they are. And for the top, I did a basket weave, just because I have a sweater that has kind of a basket weave printing on it, and I just think it's so cute to do. They're kind of pretty. The only thing is it's very time consuming, and I never measure the amount of icing, soap frosting, if you want to call it that. I never measure that correctly ever. I should have just done a second layer. That probably would have been okay, but it's okay. It's a slow process here. I will just speed it along. But yeah, you just kind of interlace. That's how I learned to do it. Anybody else do it differently? I know sometimes I see people do it, and it is a little different, but I'm not exactly sure how it, you know. My thing is getting started and making sure I'm, you know, consistently trying to keep it straight. But yeah, it looks like my knitting is a little off center. But yeah, what do you do, right? What do you do? So this is why I did sweater weather. Why I called it sweater season and not sweater weather. I mean, is because like sometimes you think sweater weather, they're always like layered bars. They have different fall colors. They might have the layers might be sculpted, like with scalloped edges or zigzag edges, like a sweater would be, you know, a knitted sweater. And so I was like, it just didn't seem to fit, and so I decided sweater season was a better name for it. Oh, if you want to know about the fragrance oil, which did fantastic, I have to say, it was Oat Milk and Honey by Nurture's Homemade. Now, the one thing about the Ghost Swirls is the more extensive of a difference between the lye water you have, the more defined swirls, we'll call them swirls, more defined texture in the soap you will have. One thing, this was very soft, as you can see. I might have froze it a little bit, just because I think I did have trouble getting it out of the mold. But the top looks super cool, doesn't it? Like, hello, pretty cool there. And then comes cutting all the little pieces of my little soap, and getting to see those swirls pop up. Now this soap does discolor just a tiny bit. Titanium dioxide could have been put in here, but I did not. I decided to go for the natural look of the soap with the fragrance oil, just tweaking it just a little bit. And to looking at them now, being they are still fresh, those swirls are going to be a little more prominent, and they will kind of ease up a little bit as they dry, just because my ratios are 3, 4, 5. They're very close to each other. If I had done maybe 2.5 to 5 to 7.5, 7.5 would have been a lot of water. More definition to them after they're cured. But you can definitely see them. Oh, I better fix him. There's always that one soap that, one little thing. I don't know what happened to him. I really don't. But, they are super cute. And then you don't, I just feel they don't need anything. They don't need any color. They don't need any, micas or glitters or nothing, because they have their own standalone pattern that is just so cute. Turned out really well. Could have took a hanger through it, actually. I think I thought about it, and then I decided not to, because I thought it poured so nicely, nothing really got thicker, super thick than the other, and it's just pretty beautiful, actually. Nice. So here are the fragrance notes for these sweater season bars. Here are the bars right when I cut them, and here are the bars when they're totally cured. Yeah, pretty different. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. God bless.